Welcome to the Farming Without the Bank podcast, the show with a no BS approach to money, hosted by a farm strategy expert and authorized IBC practitioner. Join us as we get real and expose the flaws of traditional financial institutions in order to help farmers take control of their finances, create peace of mind, grow their wealth, and leave a legacy. Now, here's your host, Mary Jo Ehrman.
Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. Thank you very much for being here. Let's talk about retirement, what we're going to use for income at retirement, what we're going to get rid of for expenses at retirement, because this really is it's not a topic that I talk about a lot because I just don't believe in retirement. And I think if you don't have the money to retire, you shouldn't be retiring, which is a foreign concept to some people, but let's talk about it. So I have had a few of these conversations lately where people are saying, hey, you know what, I really want to retire, because obviously I do have clients that are not farmers, right? But I've had these conversations with farmers that are saying, hey, I want to retire and now I have to get rid of these expenses. And so I need to get rid of my life insurance expense. I need to get rid of, any car payments. I need to get rid of things I don't need. And maybe I have vehicles that are paid for, but I need to get rid of those. Or we're going to retire, so we're going to buy the very last Buick we're ever going to have in our life. And yes, I use the word Buick because it seems like all the old people around here drive Buicks. They're nice cars, nothing wrong with them, but it seems like we're going to go buy our last Buick, right? Or we're going to go buy our last pickup or whatever that is. Or there's so many people that say, I can't retire because I'm not going to have any money. And they don't quite understand what that looks like and what that means. And so let's talk about it. First, let's talk about what are you going to have for cash flow at retirement. I was visiting with somebody a couple of weeks ago and they had a couple $100,000 and they felt like they were going to be able to retire. I don't care if you live on $30,000 a year, $40,000 a year, $100,000 a year. You're going to need money to retire. And that's going to depend on what you want for a lifestyle. But if you're making $40,000 a year and you don't have the money to travel now, you are not going to be able to retire and live on $40,000 a year and travel. Because what you're doing today isn't going to change a lot until you're about 80 or 90. And that's what I've seen with any of my clients that have elderly parents. They're like, yep, they traveled, they did all kinds of stuff. They actually needed more money until they were about 80 to 90 years old. And then they didn't go anyplace anymore because their health didn't allow them to. And so they really did live on less, because they just didn't have the needs for more. So if you're going to have the people statistically that live longer are those that have money and they don't need to worry about it. Well, what do those people have? They might have a pension, so they're not needing to worry about income. How, as a farmer, can you create a pension for yourself? You can do that by selling your land. If you have land that is bought and paid for, and you don't owe anything on that, why won't you owner finance somebody? And I talk about this a lot when I do presentations. If we can owner finance somebody, let's say we've got $2 million worth of land. And if you owner finance somebody over 30 years at 5%, you just doubled your money. And that is because interest is going to be the double. So now you have $4 million asset sitting there, and you thought it was a $2 million asset. Yes, I understand that you have to pay taxes. Yes, I understand that you have capital gains and all the other stuff that goes with it. But you can sell $2 million and pay capital gains, or you can sell it for $4 million and have the interest pay for any capital gains and still make a little bit more money and have a pension check every single year that you're living off of. So many farmers think, well, all I have is rental income. Well, what if you need more than the rental income? then do a for sale by owner, or not for sale by owner, but owner finance somebody. Do a lease to own, something that gives you some consistent cash flow every single year that may be more than the rental income. Okay. Then you maybe don't have to retire. It's interesting because when I run these numbers, at least probably 2 times a week for people that I talk to. And when I'm running these numbers, the rental income or the owner finance income, usually it's the owner finance income, is more money than that person ever made farming as a net income. And we don't have the fertilizer, the fuel, the feed, the vet bills. We don't have any of those expenses anymore. And so will it put us in a higher tax bracket? Maybe. Maybe you want to farm on shares with somebody so that you still do have some of those expenses. And so there are ways for you guys to retire without having to reduce these expenses and live on nothing. I mean, if I have to retire, if I say, you know what, there's this magic age of 65, which is completely made up, and we have bought into this hook, line, and sinker. Now, there are people that are like, I cannot wait to retire until 65. It's going to be glorious. Why? Because you hate your job? You hate having to punch a clock? I am not looking forward to 65 so I can retire. I absolutely love what I do. May I slow down as I get older? Yes, because I'm going to be 50 and I'm tired, man. It's like, I'm tired. It's not like I was 10 years ago. So will I slow down? Yes. Am I going to retire if I don't have the money to do that? Heck no. If I want to travel, if I want to continue to buy things, if I want to continue to do things, I am not going to limit my cash flow coming to me. This is the problem with retirement is cash flow stops and we just think we have to have a bunch of money saved in order to retire. We don't think about how can we create cash flow at retirement. And that needs to be the topic of conversation. How are we going to create enough cash flow so I can still live and do all the things I want? I can take the grandkids places. I can go places. I don't have to go anywhere. I can just sit at home, watch TV, and not care about how the bills are getting paid, right? Because I have the cash flow coming in. Many of us are not looking at what the true cost of retirement is. You have inflation, just like the lovely lady that I talked to a couple of weeks ago. She didn't even figure in inflation. So you're living on $40,000 a year now. What is that going to cost you down the road with inflation? And what really is the cost of inflation? Nobody knows. I mean, a lot of people say it's a 4% average, but I don't know. We can guess at about 4%. And she was young. It's going to take a long time. If we've worked for 40 years, let's just say we work from 20 to 65. We work for 45 years, and then we're supposed to have enough money saved, raise our kids, buy houses, build businesses, build your farm operation, buy all this equipment, build fences, all the infrastructure that goes into that. You're supposed to save all the money that you need to live from 65 to, let's say, 85. 20 years, you're supposed to not have any income. You're supposed to have saved yourself into that income. How on God's green earth do y'all think that's going to happen? It's not. It's not. Unless today you start creating something that will produce cash flow so that you can live longer because you know you have this money coming in. This is always interesting to me when I see somebody owner finance somebody for land. And I'm like, oh, how long are they owner financing you? Oh, 5 years, 10 years. Like, well, how old are they? Oh, they're 75 or they're 80, so they only want to do 5 to 10 years. Why not do longer? Because if you don't need all that money every single month or every single year, If the payment is so high that we're just accumulating money we're not using, then why not just let that person continue to pay your estate? But who said you're dying in 10 years? If you're 75, who said you're dying by 85? Nobody. So now we're worried, oh my gosh, these payments are going to end in 10 years. What am I going to do then for money? Because I'm not going to have any. So I'm going to have the money I do get now. I'm going to have to save that money because I'm going to need that in 10 years, right? Or we could just say, I'll owner finance you for 20 or 25 years. And I know then I'm going to be dead. And if I have to worry about it, I'm going to be like 100. So I'm not going to worry a whole bunch about it. If I die early, then they can just continue to pay my estate. And they don't have to just pay me because I had what I needed to live. If we're going to retire, which I think is phenomenal, great. Let's start building some assets that we can use as cash flowing assets later. Do you really think the Robert Kiyosaki's of the world, the Bill Gateses of the world, the Zuckerbergs, the whoever's of the world, do you really think the Warren Buffetts, do you really think that those people haven't built cash flow? That's exactly what they did so that they could retire. Because their money's coming in every month. It's not depleting. Now, let's just take Warren Buffett as an example. I don't know how the guy is. He's like 80 some years old, right? Or 90? He's old. Has he retired? No, he's still working. He's still doing something. There is this huge misconception that we need to retire, that we need to get out of the work environment at 65 years old. Why? I mean, if I hated my job, I would want to retire. Are we all just sitting in things, we're doing things that we just dislike that much that we can't wait to retire? Farmers don't retire because they love what they do. A lot of times, even after they retire, and they're not even getting money from it, they've passed it off to the kids. They're still going out every day and helping because they absolutely love it. So can we figure something out that we can do if we're going to stop farming? What can we do after we stop farming that can produce some cash flow? I feel like I've been a little bit of a ping pong ball here today, which is not abnormal for me, right? Because I don't prep for these things. But you get the point. You're going to need some cash flow at retirement. So let's get some cash flow coming in. Let's sell, owner finance it if we can, and be in a position where you don't have to worry about money so that you can live longer and you can enjoy retirement. I don't care if that number creeps up on you to 65 and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I'm 65, I'm supposed to retire. I don't have any money, but I'm supposed to retire. And don't be planning for retirement at 55, for God's sake. 10 years is not enough. So plan now. If you are somebody that's young, get started now. If you are 55 and 60, you better figure out what your new love is to create some cash flow. And we better get some money moved over there. Because otherwise, you're not going to retire. I'm sorry to say, Social Security is not going to be there for you to live off of. All right, guys. Let me know. Comments, questions, concerns. MaryJo@withoutthebank.com. If you have a topic, let me know. I'm happy to cover it. All right. You have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to the Farming Without the Bank podcast. We hope today's episode has inspired you to take control of your finances in new ways. Don't forget to check out our website, farmingwithoutthebank.com, and engage with us on our Facebook page, Farming Without the Bank. Join us next week as we smash more financial myths and empower you to accomplish your financial goals.